Completely honest, the first few months were very difficult.
Yeah.
I was up there alone, not really seeing anyone, and then couldn't play football. I was twiddling my thumbs thinking, Jesus, I need to do something. In the professional environment, you can get caught up in the results, performance, stats, but you've got to enjoy it. You've got to play the game as if you've always played it. When I was so young playing League One, you didn't really realise. Like I said last year, the National League took me by surprise as well. Because you think, oh, non-league. People are so frightened about not going into the National League. Every day, I still have my doubts completely. I think, like, you're not doing enough. I've had some footballers message me saying, I love your content. Thank you so much. Like, do you have anything else?
Stay
Talking with
tuned.
a few people. Yeah, exactly. So we played Notts County last year. For me, John Bostock, running the game and being similar to you, without like.
Come on, I want to hear it. Welcome to Ball Talk. In today's episode, I'm going to be joined by professional footballer James Daly. James has come through the Crystal Palace Academy system before being signed by the likes of Bristol Rovers, Stevenage, Woking, and is now playing at Harrogate Town. Right, James, thanks for coming back on, mate.
It's all right. No,
Hope you're well.
All good.
All good, yeah?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Bit of context on you. Obviously, I'm sure people know, but you're a footballer for Harrogate.
Yeah.
And we know each other through coming through the Palace Academy together. And you've played for a number of teams leading up to that, leading up to where you are now. Yeah, a number of clubs, including, Woking, Stevenage, Bristol Rovers. So you've moved about a bit. But talk to me. This season, how's it been so far?
Yeah, it's been a good season. I think different moving away from home for the first time. So a lot of things you don't see in the football world on paper. It's moving away, having your own space, adjusting to lifestyle like that, sort of growing up properly. So yeah, it's given me a full sort of fresh start, a clean slate, so to speak, just to focus on the football and nail some stuff. So yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, sounds good. So in terms of Harrogate, I believe you're ninth in the table, around there.
Ninth or eighth.
Yeah. And you're a few points off the playoffs, which is, good position to be in.
Yeah.
So personally for you, I know you've struggled with injuries a lot this season, but how's the season been in terms of you personally?
Yeah, it's been all right. Yeah, we've I think it's been a bit of a slow start, being completely honest. I've had a bit of mixed match and not really left off how I thought I would, but it's a step up in level. It's a step up in a lot. The players are better. It's testing yourself to that degree, really. So yeah, it's at times been difficult, but at the same time, I'm enjoying it and just making sure I'm being better for every day and just being in an environment where you're testing yourself every day. So that's the main goal, is just keeping that going, really.
Yeah, and I see you got recently you got your first goal of the season.
First goal.
Yeah, little assist as well, and that was a derby, was it?
Doncaster, yeah, that's a derby. I mean, it took longer than I thought it would to
Yeah.
come, but yeah, it's a great feeling, especially when you go through a bit of a spell of not scoring and not contributing. In my head, I've always gone into a new team and feel like haven't really proved myself unless I've done it on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's always been the mindset, which has its detriments, but when you get that goal and you've contributed, it settles you down a little bit and just makes you feel more of a part of it, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been following you this season. Looks like it's been a frustrating one in terms of, I think a lot of your appearances have come from off the bench, but you've got 14. I think you've got 14 appearances.
Yeah, about I think around 14. Yeah, it's a lot of them have come off the bench, and I guess that's the reality of football. Is if that's my aim at the minute, is to play. I've got to come and impact off the bench, and that's how I'm going to do it. So yeah, it's been a bit limited in terms of opportunity, but I know that first and foremost you've got to look at yourself and see what you're doing. That's always the main thing. So yeah, always analysing what I can do better and how I can be better. And yeah, maybe just a case of probably putting too much pressure on myself. I went sort of tried to go away and say, right, this is me. I'm going to focus on football completely. But in reality, there's a lot of time off the pitch as well. So in my head, I'm learning from that still every day. I'm not perfect, but I think the more you get exposed to it is the better. And I'm glad I've done it because initially it was difficult period, but now I feel like I'm definitely grown from it. So it's now just translating that onto the pitch and getting more minutes and going from there.
Yeah. So when you said like obviously you can think about it too much, and even if you do, like you're giving 100% into it, you still got time elsewhere. When you what was your days looking like when you think, oh, I'm doing too much?
So especially moving up there and having a complete schedule, my goal was always right, nail football because you see the Last Dance of Michael Jordan's,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you kind of get a biased view on that you have to be obsessed, you have to do this to be great. So always in my head, I'm like, right, let's focus on football. That's it. But in reality, there's a lot of life other than what you do. It's a privilege to do what I do, but at the same time, it is a job and you need a balance. And I think, yeah, I'd probably, when I first started, get up, go to training, do well in training, work harder, then a lot of my evenings are free. So I'm spending it in the gym doing probably too much in
yeah,
terms of, right, I need to be the best version of myself, the best athlete, lift the heaviest I've ever lifted. But then just, I think, disregarded the recovery side of it, which is just as important, just to rest and not do anything. Because everyone wants to work, work, work. But sometimes you just need to remember and learn that I'm terrible at trying to relax,
yeah,
which is something I'm trying to work on. So yeah,
yeah.
that
So
side of it.
that's maybe where if you do have a like a hobby or a passion outside of it, it can help, and then that will maybe breed better results on the football pitch.
Yeah, I think you see it a lot now. People going into transitioning into other things, and you can think about football too much for sure.
Yeah,
Especially when you're playing it and you're watching it. I think you can get caught up in that world of just being in that bubble and not really looking elsewhere. So yeah, if you've got a project going on outside of football, that's a important thing as well, just to take your mind off it.
yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. I did want to talk a little bit about your gaffer at the moment.
Yeah,
So, am I right in saying it is Simon
Simon Weaver.
Simon Weaver?
Yeah,
Okay, he's been there for a while.
yeah.
So he was there as soon as you arrived.
Hmm.
Okay, so talk to me. First of all, what's he like as a bloke?
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a really good man manager, and whatever decision he does make, he's open and honest and transparent about it. And I think what works great as well is doesn't put too much pressure on you. He doesn't tell you what to do. It's free reign almost. It's go out there first and foremost, as football should be, just to enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
Just go out there and express yourself. Don't play with too much pressure, which is something he's instilled into me, which is great. It's just right, go and do what you're best at without thinking too much about it, which I think as well, that's something that sometimes I get come unstuck with. It's just thinking too much about the performance, but in reality, playing a game of football. So
yeah,
that's been great for me, really. Like liberating is because at times in the professional environment you can get caught up in the results, the performance stats, but you got to enjoy it. You got to play the game as if you've always played it. And sometimes I forget that it is a game essentially. Football is a game, and you've got to the best performances you have is when you're enjoying it. And you're not thinking too much about it. And when you go into the world of professional environment, it's so easy to go right. This is performance based. Have to be diligent with this, diligent with that.
it's just too many things in your mind, isn't it? You're just
Yeah,
like, have I done this right? Have I done that right? Have I eaten the right foods?
yeah,
Did I get the right amount of sleep? But really,
exactly. You can
it's too
self
much.
sabotage, can't you? And if you set yourself up to have a perfect, you can only play well in a perfect environment in the perfect settings. You're going to come unstuck because that's not always the case. And trying to just take it with a pinch of salt is play football for a while. You know how to play football. It's not something you have to completely overthink. It's something that you've gained mastery in terms of the 10,000 hours. So just make sure that you're playing for the enjoyment, and that's when the creativity comes. Then the good stuff comes from that.
Your mind's like clearer and you just feel freer on the pitch, don't you?
Mm,
I always feel like the best points I've had in my football career. I look back now and it's almost like I don't remember what I wasn't really thinking about anything
no,
then. And the times where you're struggling, you remember overthinking, like you said, maybe doing too much in the gym or
Mm,
going to the gym for the sake of it 'cause I know I need to.
yeah,
But like you said, you can get too much, and I feel like you need to get in that like flow state of where
yeah,
that's it. I'm just going with it, and just not thinking too
mate.
much.
That's exactly it. And it's whatever works for you, right? It's no one's the same. Some people might need to do specific drill, be proper superstitious about how they prepare, and other people can just go off the bat and fly. So it's working out what works best for you, but also being open minded to try different things and go, maybe I'm thinking too much. Maybe this is actually impacting me more than benefiting me, which I think is definitely something I've been is thought about the games and tried to be in a right mindset at times. But then at the end of the day, it comes down to action. If you can think the best thoughts in your head, but if you go on the pitch and you're not taking the action, you're not taking the ball, you're not taking shots, you're not
Yeah,
crossing the ball, it don't matter how you think. You can think really negatively, but if you do the right things, you're going to get the results. So it's changing that to just right, what actions do I need to take, regardless of how you feel.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And like you said, performance for me always did breed the most confidence out of anything. Like the performance based is how I've always got my confidence. But then I suppose secondary it comes from like your work rate and knowing you've done what needs to be done.
Yeah, it's just getting that evidence, right? It's like you don't have to always feel up to doing it.
Yeah,
And so many times in games, I look back and think, God, some days you're like, "Oh, I can't be asked today."
yeah,
But then if you put it in, it don't matter. It don't matter how you think. Like only you know it. If you put in the results, that's all that matters. You put in the hard graft, you run about. If you put in a good performance, it doesn't actually matter what you're thinking about. It's just what you're doing, and the same vice versa. So I got a mindset of where I was like, right, I need to think positively. I need to think about this. I need to think about that. And in my head, I was like, well, I've ticked that off. But then it doesn't matter when it comes to a game. You can think all those things. You need to be who you need to be to take those actions on. And that's another thing I've definitely worked with a mindset coach, and he said the same thing. It's never really what you need to do, it's who you need to be. Because you know what you need to do, but it's what's the best version of yourself to bring that out on a pitch. You need to think about what does that look like? So what does it look like if I'm gonna take a man on, beat my man, have a few more shots, get in the box? Who is that version of myself and work on that and not go, right, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because anything you do, because there's enough information now, you know what you need to do.
yeah, yeah.
It's not about that.
That's not the mystery. Yeah,
No. And
that's
I
not the
used to,
hard thing. Yeah,
yeah, I used to get always think that I was like, oh, well, the manager hasn't told me to do this, the player hasn't told me to do that. But you know how to play football.
yeah,
It's who you need to be. Like, what you need to do. You need to be the bravest version of yourself every day. So, yeah, working on that,
yeah.
essentially.
100%, mate. And still touching on. I know we went off a piece a bit there, but still touching on the your manager.
Yeah.
So in terms of, so we spoke about him as a guy, but in terms of like sort of the demands he puts on yourself as an individual and the team, what does that look like in terms of? I mean, you playing left mid under him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
left on the left side.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's the demands are there, and it's I think where it works best is set by the players too. It's not just the manager. It's not just a one or two. It's set by the whole individuals. So you can see by other players and how they act and how they're doing well, and that sets the tone for everyone. It's not coming from the manager, so it's not an external all the time. Sometimes the best messages he has is when he doesn't say anything and he's not telling you what to do or demanding this.
yeah.
It's almost a silent thing where he'll step back and he knows, right, this is what you need to do. Like, he doesn't have to tell you, you should know, which is, yeah.
He knows that you know he's silent. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's the message. The message is enough.
exactly. Yeah. He oversees it. And sometimes when people oversee things and they're not always in your face, then it garners more respect.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting because every manager, like you said, every manager's got such a different style and such a just different tactics, philosophy. So it's interesting to see how they differ and the reasons behind it, I
Yeah.
suppose.
And you take from every, I've had I've had a few managers already. I've
Yeah,
had
yeah,
quite a few who've been through that, and you take the things that have rubbed off on you, and then you can apply that to your own game, and you work out, right, what did I like about this manager? What didn't work with me? So you get a broad understanding of what it takes to perform under certain managers. What does this manager want from me? Will you be different from another manager? And working out, right, how can I maximize what I've got to play?
yeah. And that's what the best players do. They can adapt. They
Mm,
can adapt. They've got like you said, they know how to play football.
yeah.
But it's now just not being right. I've done this for 3 years. I'll go into a new gaffer, a new club, and he's not telling me to do this, and you sort of get a bit flustered by it
Mm,
when you just take a step back. I know how to play football. They should play.
yeah. It's simplifying it, right? Just having a simple mindset to it and not overthinking every detail. It gets to a point where you have to just be able to, right, we've just got to play. And there's very different variations of playing, but at the end of the day, it's still 11v11. It's still football. It's just got to play football,
Yeah,
essentially.
definitely. What's his training schedule like? Let's say if you've got I mean, you've got a lot of chip midweek games, I know, but if it's like Saturday to Saturday,
Saturday to Saturday. So Monday,
Sunday off.
Sunday off
Yeah,
after a game. Yeah, that's a big thing he instills, and I enjoy that with managers. They're great with that to realise that you do have a family life. You've got people to see outside of football.
oh, of
So
course, yeah.
regardless of results, he's never had us in on a Sunday,
Okay,
which is great. Which I think, to be fair, just makes you respect the manager more and understand that if he's giving you that luxury every week to see your family, go back and see people, then you put it in the week. So yeah, Sunday off, um, be in Monday, Tuesday, off on Wednesday, and train Thursday and Friday, match prep on the Friday, and then
yeah,
game on the Saturday. So double sessions usually on a Tuesday and Thursday.
yeah,
Pretty standard where you do your heavy your heavy loading, your heavy lifting, and your tough running sessions on Tuesday with that Wednesday rest.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Monday's like your recovery from the games, sort of.
Yeah, the
You
boys that
still,
play
yeah.
still go out and do a bit, but the boys that need more minutes, they do extras with the coach as well. So yeah, it's that.
And then Friday is it again? Is generally on a Friday you walk through your shape, you do the more tactical stuff on yourself and the opposition.
Hmm.
Is that what it looks like for
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Friday would be usually a case of a warm up, passing drill, then go into 11v11 shape. So one team would be the opposition, the other
Yeah,
team would be the team that's playing. Go through patterns of how they're going to play, what what they might expect, how they're going to play, how they're going to try and better us. Then you counteract it. But then probably 20, 30 minutes. Fridays are never heavy sessions just to prepare for Saturday. And then after that, we go into just set pieces. Always do your corners for, corners against,
yeah,
wide free kicks for, wide free kicks
yeah.
against, and
You ever been
get
on
that now.
any of them? Any of the free kicks?
Wide free kicks.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, to be fair, I'm usually the one at the minute putting it in for the team that's starting. But it's good practice. That's what you got to think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of
It's
course.
good to do that. But
And you got to stay focused in that for when you do, like you said, when you do come on, so you can make an impact.
especially, I think League Two, it's a massive part of the game to be able to nail set pieces
Yeah.
because so many goals come from set pieces and so many goals are conceded from set pieces. I'd love to know the stats, but
Even seeing that more in the Prem now as well, like they're just so important.
yeah, just to nail everyone nails a job because at the end of the day, I think they're the crucial bits, right? It's the one percenters. If you can nail that, score five more goals, concede five less goals, and have a massive bearing on the table at the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely,
Mm.
100%. And again, when looking talk about the Prem with set pieces, it is. It's. I mean, it's obvious to see it when you lay it out, but you've got someone who's best technical ability in the world taking free kicks, allowing them just to put the ball in a spot,
Mm.
take their time, and put it where they want. They're going to do it. They're going to be
Yeah,
able to do it. They've got that quality. So you have to put the work in on the training pitch to sort it
it's
out.
true, and I think it goes back to it as well. Is if you simplify it, you simplify because you can have short routines, this, that, and the other. I think having a good set piece taker, you know where the ball's going to go, you know your runs, is the best way to score. Essentially, you don't have to overcomplicate these things. I know it's nice to have different routines, but if you've got a great set piece taker who is consistent about putting the ball in the same spot, then all you got to do as an attacker attacking the ball is make sure you get past your marker, and then if the ball's there, then it's there to be won. I think, yeah, simplifying these things is the best thing. Just put it in the box in a good area
Yeah,
and go from there.
and then it's about the willingness to get on the end of it. That's what I suppose that's the main bit as well.
Yeah, yeah, making sure it's a fight, right? To
Yeah,
be fair, it's
I've heard that the League One, League Two is a fight, mate.
it's some big boys as well, so
Yeah,
you've got to make sure that you are beating your man to get across
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's yeah. I think as well the referees are very strict on what happens now, so you've got to be careful, especially defending. You
yeah,
can't be grabbing shirts because then you're gone.
yeah. And you've played what, League One? You've played League Two and National League.
Hmm.
What is? Could you tell a clear difference between all three of them?
Definitely step up in level, 100%
What each,
from
every single one?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I think when I was so young playing League One, you didn't really realise, which sometimes is good.
yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of quality in the leagues, and you do notice that. But like I said last year, the national leagues took me by surprise as well because you think, oh, non-league, oh, but
especially
it's a good
last year.
level.
That was a tough year.
Yeah, you had Wrexham, Notts County, and you got Chesterfield this year is
Yeah,
some big clubs, and to compete with them is difficult. And you're still going to Tuesday night. We played Chesterfield, 5,000-6,000 there. Southend the same. You're still getting big football clubs trying to progress. It's almost difficult because you've only got one go up automatically, so you're always going to have an influx of big teams coming down and then trying to get back up. So it's only going to increase the competition there.
yeah, mate. I remember watching that National League season, especially towards the end. Obviously, the hype with Wrexham and their owners,
Mm.
Ben Foster, and it was just a great story to see, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. And you see them now; they're doing well in League Two. It's like they almost not jump League Two, but yeah, it's a great story. It's a great, and that's what I realised is it was a great marker and something to put on the National League. It advertised the National League so well. So now I think boys who are coming out of league clubs who need a loan are more accepting to the idea of going because we
100%. Yeah,
realise,
it's got more respect in it.
yeah. And I think a lot of people go, oh no, I want to stay in a league. People are so frightened about not going into the National League. But if you're playing 10, 15 games off the bench in league and you can go have a full season in the National League, the reps is when you're going to get better, right? You need the game practice. And if you can get that anywhere, you might have to step down and play, but then it make you a lot better for it.
Yeah, long term, it's just gonna. Oh, it can only benefit you, can it? Can't it?
Yeah, oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
100%.
Um, I just want to touch on. We touched on it a bit earlier, but your injury. Okay, and
Yeah.
injuries
Hmm.
in general. So what was the injury you had this season?
So it was a knee, a ligament which attaches your tibia to
Yeah.
your knee.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's small ligaments which attach, and yeah, I was training, played a 11v11 on the pitch, and went through on goal. Took a shot, hit the post, didn't go in. Then I just felt like a pop in my knee, and I've never had a knee injury before. So when you feel a pop, you're like, "Oh my god, what's this?"
Yeah.
I thought it could be anything. So yeah, just hit.
Your mind goes, then you think, "Fucking hell! Like, is this
Yeah,
is this something serious?"
yeah. So yeah, I felt that. I then went down. Luckily, got scanned and realised it was only tiny ligaments, but they did say 4 to 8 weeks, depending on pain, for the recovery process. So yeah, I mean, injuries are, as you know,
Yeah.
it's a lonely place, isn't it? When you get injured and all you want to do is play football. So I think that's what kind of led me into starting my own personal stuff
Yeah.
because they say, right, you have to be in a situation where life is that bad that you need something to change. And I was up there alone, not really seeing anyone, and then couldn't play football. I was twiddling my thumbs thinking, Jesus, I need to do something. I can't just sit here and just wallow. So yeah,
Just
that's
you
what
go crazy, wouldn't you? Especially with the injury. Like,
yeah. Because you've got 4 to 8 weeks, you've got a month to 2 months, and no matter how much you do, that time frame is not going to change. And being up there, just think, right, what can I do? So that's what led me into pivoting into doing some stuff on social media, trying to build out a personal following, a personal brand. I've looked into that quite a bit and understand that that is the way the world's going. Essentially, is building up an audience, right?
Yeah,
That's why we're
100%.
here,
Yeah,
is trying to build up an audience and
yeah,
give value back to people. So, yeah, that's what pivoted me into that. But yeah, in terms of the injury, it was probably a good thing at the same time because it gave me time to step out of the game and think, what else can I be doing?
yeah.
So
So it's a, not a blessing in disguise, but you've taken a bad situation and took positives from it,
yeah,
which
and I,
which I suppose you need to like. That's what you need to do. That's the mindset you need to have. You can't go into these injuries thinking, yeah, have your grieving time of however long you need, but then you need to think, right, how can I get the best out of this, the most out of this? Otherwise, it's wasted time.
yeah, it's flipping a switch, right? And we've all been there. When
Yeah,
you have injuries, you do wallow, you do sit there and think, oh God, why me? Like, why? But then after a period of time, you think, well, spending that time wondering why it's happened to me, why this is happening, is only time you're going to waste improving it. The
yeah,
situation is the situation, right? No matter what is put in front of you, that's it. You can't, no matter how much you want it to change, isn't going to change.
yeah, yeah,
And I know that sounds like philosophical, but at the end of the day, I've realized you're the only one going to get yourself out of that situation. And you can sit there and complain and think, be in that victim mindset,
yeah.
which we all do. And I was the same. I
And I
was
think
like,
just to say, I think that is so that is still a natural. That's a natural like thought. It's not like if you're thinking that right, maybe I'm not this, not the person to go on and progress. It's okay to have them thoughts, but
oh
it's then
yeah,
how you react after that.
everyone has those thoughts.
Yeah,
And like us two sitting there, sitting here talking about it, it's not like we're completely different. I know we're speaking about stuff, but we still, even to every day, I still have my doubts
yeah,
completely. I think you're not doing enough. Like you're not doing enough all the time. That's in the back of my mind driving me. And I think everyone has that.
yeah,
It's just how you then use that. You can either fall into your shell and make it worse, or you can go, right, what can I do today just so I'm better tomorrow? And just try and every day make yourself a bit better. But sometimes it's days you're like, your mind gets the better of you, doesn't it? And you
yeah.
think, right, what? Tried this today, hasn't worked out. Tried this, hasn't worked out. I've written this, I've done some stuff, I haven't got anything for it. And you're like, oh, just got to do it tomorrow as
That's the
well.
hard bit, just not getting demotivated. So you don't think, all right, I've had one day off. Don't. I'm just going to sack it off. Just think, right, it's okay to I've had one day off. That's fine.
Yeah,
Let's just get back to it.
exactly. And with your injuries, it's probably the most formulating experience you've ever had, your formative experience, right? Is because you've been through that every day where you do your rehab, you get back on the pitch, you're still feeling pain, back to rehab, get back on the pitch, have to come back. So you're always in that cycle of, right, I've done everything I can, I've tried everything, get out there, you get a taste for it, and then you're back to square one.
You get put back. Yeah, it's the most frustrating feeling. But again, you've just got to, like we said, it's there's you got two options.
It's that, yeah. You can sit there and think, oh, what am I going to do? Or just pivot. I think pivoting is the best thing to do. And you build that up in your mind where, like now with what you're doing off the pitch, is you're trying things and you're not expecting immediate results because life doesn't work like that, does it?
And if you get immediate results with stuff, it's not it's not as rewarding, is it? I suppose.
No, if you were to get it tomorrow, if you were to get everything you wanted tomorrow, you just be like, okay,
It's
I
like
need
what
to
they
do
say
something
about
else
winning
then.
the lottery.
Yeah,
A lot of them go like depressed and they
mm,
just and bankrupt.
exactly that.
Yeah,
Because you get all that in, it's almost like a sense of your own, I don't deserve this.
yeah,
And you don't ever want to have that. You'd rather get to a point, be on the other side where you're like, yeah, it's about time this happened. You don't want to be in that mind where you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't deserve this,
mm,
which you can be. I've been there as well, where you think, oh, have I been given this opportunity? Have I actually earned it?
yeah.
And it's also a good reminder to go, well, no, this is what you've put in to get here. Of course you do.
Little look back, yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that. So in terms of your actual in like when you are injured, do you just take it day by day,
I
or
think you have to.
yeah,
I think you can look too far ahead, but
obviously
especially,
depends how long the injury is as well. Like if you've got a couple of weeks, I suppose it's not. You can almost just have.
Yeah.
Like it's not really going to affect your mind too much. But if you, like you said, if it's a couple months,
Mm.
then you have got to think like, how am I going to approach it?
Yeah, I think 4 to 8 weeks is that period where you're not out for too long, but at the same time, the first couple of weeks usually goes really quickly. But yeah, it's everything, right? It's what you can do in that day to be better tomorrow, and that's the only way you can look at it. Set goals is like, right, set a time or a fixture you want to get back for, but then every day just make sure you're doing the right things to get back. And at times it don't work because you're like, oh, it's another day, and it does get repetitive where you're watching the boys train, you're watching other people play, you're watching the games, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm not out there. But you realise that you've got to put in the work to get things right. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a case of taking it every step. There's a plan for the rehab that you stick to, and you're not on your own. I know you are. It is a lonely environment, but you've got physios around you,
yeah.
and if you're lucky enough to have another player who's injured with you, just to share that experience, I guess, just to know that it does
Does help.
happen.
Does help a lot.
Mm,
Having it does help having another player alongside you. I think
yeah,
just to push each other in the gym, just to have a bit of banter in the when you're doing your rehab. Like it's just obviously you've got your physio, but it's not. It's good to have that extra body. I think extra player.
do you feel like that helps you a lot with your rehab, having someone there?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It was when it was night and day when compared to when I didn't have someone and when I did,
Mm,
because it just again it's just like I sort of looked at my injury with it being so long, and quite often like I almost looked at it as that I had to get in the mindset of this is my job. Like my job's not to play football now. My job's to
yeah,
do this rehab and do it to the best I can, and then just that's my job for now. And that's what I was thinking really going in
mhm,
day to day, just so I didn't get in that mindset of all right, I'm a footballer and I'm not playing football every day and I'm watching everyone else do that. I said no, that's it. I'm not. That's not my job now.
yeah.
My job's to do rehab.
It's the way you speak about it there is something I've written about is not putting labels on yourself,
Yeah,
and it's so easy when you play football, especially when you're young, to say, I'm a footballer." When people ask you what you do, and you say you're a footballer, and then you get the reaction, "Oh, that's amazing!
yeah,
Like that's unbelievable! Like, talk to me about that." And everyone's so interested in it, so automatically, like subconsciously, it's ingraining who you are,
yeah.
and it's constantly getting reaffirmed. Oh, I'm a footballer because when I talk about it, people are so interested. So that's like your ace card, right?
That's your personality almost. Like it.
Yeah. And you speak to anyone, and you probably noticed it. I notice it as well. If I go to the barbers, for example,
Yeah,
and I go and they speak, oh, we have a chat and say, oh, what do you do? And then you say, oh, you play football. Then all of a sudden, it's almost like a bit of a shift. People always treat you a bit better,
yeah, they do.
which I think in long term does actually is a detriment because what I've noticed is that does become your identity, and it's so hard to get out of that because
It's a good
it's your
feeling.
job. It's a great feeling, and
Yeah,
it's giving you rewards, and people treat you differently for it. So it's almost a mask you can use where people elevate you, but at the same time, when you then can't play football, it's like, well, oh my God, am I less of a person now because I can't use that label? But it's the labels which is the difficult one for me. Is you do play football, it is your job, but it's not completely you. And that's the one thing I struggle with now is I realise that my life has been built around James Daly as the footballer,
yeah.
and then that is
Not James who plays football.
no,
Yeah,
and anyone who speaks to me, which is great, talks about football, and then you think, okay, that's who I am. I'm the person who plays football, but there's more to it.
that's why there's so many footballers that because 99% of footballers get into that sort of state. I think state of mind, and that's why when they retire and like you said, when they stop playing football, a lot of them can't seem to find another job because they're a footballer.
Mm,
They're a retired footballer now, but they
mhm.
can't seem to find another job. They struggle. They start like they've got no income coming in,
Yeah,
start losing money. A lot of I think the divorce rate for retired footballers is like high,
yeah.
very high. So, and that's why because they get in that state of mind, isn't it?
Mm. And I think that's a big thing. And what I've tried to pivot out of is try and build something and touch on other things that I'm interested in, just so I have like a broader range to speak about. Because you mentioned it, you look at best footballers, your Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Ian Wright, Roy Keane, they're still just talking about football
Yeah.
because it is their identity. It's what they've lived and breathed, right? But is there more to it? I don't know.
They've turned their passion for football, but they've still, don't get me wrong, you can't just go into that and can't just finish football and because you played football, go into that. You've got to still, I mean, the amount of work that it seems like that Gary Neville does to become good at his job, which is not football now, it's now like broadcasting football.
Mm,
He's still had to put the work in to do that.
without a doubt. And
Yeah.
that's the one thing I always look at. We spoke about it the other day, a few of the boys. Remember when Gary Neville done his first ever Sky Sports show?
Yeah.
And you think that's a great thing to look at. I love looking at people's first time, and you think how much growth that is. Because yeah, like you mentioned, you need to build those skills up. And I'm trying to do that now before you get to a point where you're panicking come the end of your career and going, oh my God, how much transferable skills do I have? Nothing. And that was a realization this year. I was like, I'm 24. Touch wood, if I was to be injured, luckily, like have a career-threatening injury, what am I going to go into?
Yeah.
What skills do I have other than kicking a ball around? Not many, which is worrying because then subconsciously I'm like relying on my physical body to keep me afloat, right? I'm not really using what I have in my brain if I do have anything. I
Elsewhere.
do have any
Yeah.
knowledge. I have
But
anything
again,
to show.
that can, like you said, that can be, you can learn skills. That can be learned. It can be built,
Yeah,
which is what you've started doing now. We'll go into
mhm,
that a bit. So
yeah,
is that, so that's they're basically what you just touched on there, the main reasons why you've started to do. I see you're doing a bit more content now on
mhm.
Twitter, X. So is that sort of the main reason? It's just so you've got, like you said, you have loads of spare time as a footballer, so you've got now that other route and the other just something else going on in your life where it's not just football, football, football.
Yeah. I think it benefited me massively is having said other skills, just making sure that you're covering bases, not having it's not a plan B a sense as such. It's having something on the side where yeah, you're building up a bit of a you said building your skills, you're building a skill set, you're building a personal brand essentially, just to be able to use and be able to take take out of life and transition whenever the time does come. Because I noticed 24 now, how long have you got in football? Do have still a lot of time for in most people's eyes, but at the same time it's right, it's not really that long. You're gonna have a second career,
You're
you're
gonna have,
gonna have to do something,
yeah,
aren't you?
you're gonna have like the second. You've almost got another 2/3 of your life to go after football.
Hmm.
So it's only going to be a third of your working career, really.
Yeah.
So you've got to, like you said, you've got to, even if you have all the money in the world, you can't just, you're going to be bored. You're going to be depressed, not doing anything. You need to still have that passion, that drive.
Yeah.
And like you said, with building just more awareness, a personal brand, however you want to label it, is that's the way the world's going now. The way it's just going to keep getting more and more in terms of content, media,
Mm.
and I feel like that's how everyone's going to end up like monetizing it.
100%. I truly believe that everyone has a personal brand, whether they believe they do or not, right?
Yeah,
Everyone uses social media. Everyone is consuming stuff. Everyone's posting stuff, even if it might not be every day. People still use their platform to spread messages. It's just how much do you use it and how much can you benefit from it. But you see it now. I've seen the transition for a while of everyone is trying to get a following, but it's for a reason, right? It's because I think that's the next evolution in life is being in the digital world and having an audience and having your own sustained things going on, which you can control.
yeah, definitely. And like you said, so are you more at the moment, like still talking away from football? Are you more, it's more invested in yourself right now in
Yeah.
terms of like courses
Hmm.
and not so much like that. That's your focus. Your focus is building your skills, invested in yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I think at the minute I'm at the stage where I'm working out because it's an attention game, right?
Yeah,
Social media, you look at TikTok now, you look at all the short form. People who get the most attention, the most eyes on them are the ones that have the most influence. And people can see that as, oh, that's a bit unethical. I'm not sure about that. Like, I don't want to just be stealing people's attention, but everyone does it to a degree. Everyone's doing it. You're consuming products. Like big corporations are doing it. You're doing it to other people because you're posting stuff.
You're
So
always trying to portray you're trying to portray your sort of, I don't know, not your personality, but just your reputation, or you're trying to portray yourself, aren't you? Like that.
exactly that. And I think there's definitely a deeper message behind it is where I feel like, well, it might not be for other people, but I feel like I've got value to give other people, which can help them. I almost see it as if you don't put stuff out there, it's half selfish in a way because then you're not really contributing or giving people or helping people who might need the information you have. You might have something in your head right now, which someone 2, 3 steps behind you, 2, 3 years behind you will go, oh, that was like exactly what I needed. Thanks for that. I didn't think about that. I didn't realize, I didn't really look at that situation that way.
Yeah,
And I think everyone has that. I don't want to ever get to the point of when you die, you don't want to leave with anything. You don't want to keep anything in. You want to be able to use your lessons, use your experiences, use your downfalls to help someone. Because someone might be in the situation where you were 2, 3 years ago. They're in an academy, they've got a long-term injury, and they don't know what to do. They don't know whether they're on the right path. They're thinking about doing something else. Just at a point where they're lost, right?
just they're lost. They don't know how to navigate it, do they?
Yeah, and you can show them how
Yeah,
to navigate it, and you've got the lessons because you've been there, and then you can help someone else. So that's essentially where I want to get to is provide value for others who are maybe in the situation I was 2, 3 years ago.
yeah,
So I can say, well, this is what I've done. Here's a shortcut. Here's a better route for it.
yeah, mate. That sounds good. It does. So just using again like your skills, your experiences to pass down, and because you can build up your brand, you can also use that to become like it sounds your passion to become your job.
Yeah, because everyone. That's what I always thought. It's so strange, and everyone feels the same way. As like, well, who's going to listen to me? Like, what have I got to give someone? But until you start doing it, and until I started posting regularly, then you get messages from people. I've had some footballers message me saying, I love your content. Thank you so much. Like, do you have anything else? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe it is
Stay
clicking with a
tuned.
few people. Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned. It is coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you realize that reaffirms it. It's like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm helping someone else here. And that
Yeah.
makes you feel so much better for it. Is like a lot of times as well, people won't message you saying this is really helpful. They say like your best fans are people that will never message you, right?
Yeah.
So it might be someone listening to this podcast who listens every week, but won't ever tell you like how valuable it is. But at the same time, you've got to think there are people out there who can this one person benefit from this, and in turn, you benefit yourself, right? It's a win-win. I think the creator world, the creator economy, where you create, you provide value, provides value to others, you win, they win. It's not like a competition,
Yeah.
is it?
And like you said, I remember we were speaking about this the other day that everyone's chasing the numbers and the views, but it's a lot better to have that lower number of loyal people that like your stuff and think the same as you and act like want to live their life the same as you, really, and
Hmm.
they follow you and they're loyal to you instead of having the sort of like something that blows up and it's got like loads of attention, but they don't really know who you are. They don't
Yeah,
really like have the same personality traits or have the same thoughts as you, philosophy as you.
yeah,
It's definitely better to have that more loyal but less of a
yeah.
following.
And you can help them better, right? If you're doing the podcast and I'm posting stuff which interests me, then I'm hopefully going to get a following which in turn are interested in the things I'm interested in.
Yeah, exactly that.
So I can then help them on their journey. Maybe if someone follows me and I'm posting stuff which is all just maybe football based or something that I'm not really interested in, but just for views, I in turn might not be able to help that person as much. So that's what I'm trying to do is post what I'm interested in, and you're doing similar. You're focusing on what you're interested in, and other people are then interested in it. So then you can go, okay, we've got the same interests. How can I help that person? Because then you're just selling. Well, eventually you should sell. You should sell to yourself and
Yeah,
solve the problems in your life, and then sell a solution. Because I think as well, people like selling gets a bad name as well. Ah, so you're just selling something, but everyone's selling to a degree. If you try not sell, you try and sit in your home and not sell anything, you're either selling something yourself
yeah,
or you're selling the company you work for, you're selling their products, you're selling their services.
Yeah.
There's sales in everything you do.
But like you said, selling does sound like a bit sleazy and a bit like unethical. But think about like even footballers going on trial, you're selling your abilities
Mm-hmm.
to the coaches, your everything is a sale.
Yeah,
That's how you get a job. That's how you get a job. That's just how life is, isn't it?
that is life.
Relationships, you're technically
Yeah,
selling yourself.
you're selling the best version of yourself,
Yeah,
and everything is just everything's sales, isn't it? Everything's marketing. You're selling something whether you believe you are or not,
yeah.
and even working for someone else, you're selling that company. So yeah, I mean that's the game, and that's you've got to play it. You can't not play it. You try not to sell anything, you're not going to have any
End up
money.
down there.
Yes, you're not going to have any money to do anything you want, and you're
Yeah,
not going to be able to improve yourself without the money.
yeah, definitely. Listen, I enjoyed that chat. Actually, it was good. We went off piece a bit, but
Mm,
I do enjoy talking about the other side, the other side of like football, where you do have so much free time, like we just said. So
yeah,
it's good to venture out. But I want to talk about. So obviously, you moved up to Harrogate,
yeah,
and you're originally from Brighton, so you've moved away from your family, a lot of your like longer term friends, and where you've lived pretty much your whole life. What How's that been, first of all? Because I know you've moved previously to like Woking, but it's never been as far as from the south of the country to the north of the country.
mm.
So how have you coped with that?
Completely honest, the first few months was like not hell, but very difficult. The first few months were very difficult.
Yeah,
I took it in my head before I made the decision at home to move away, but I was already in my comfort zone and bubble.
yeah,
So I made it on a place where I was comfortable to go, oh yeah, this is what I should be doing. I knew it was the next stage for me, but I didn't realize or didn't foresee how difficult it probably would have been and how much I did rely on my family and my friends. So that was definitely something which impacted the football, I think, because my life off the pitch was gone from being around everyone I know, my family, like so grateful for them to be able to support me. And you don't realize how much your mum and dad and your family do actually boost you and give you the things you need to do well. So it was a sense of the first couple of months realizing, right, no one's coming to save you here. You've done this, you've made this decision, like, you have to make this work. And it's grown me massively because I remember just thinking, Christ, I'm so lost
it can
here.
be a shock to the system, can't it?
Oh yeah,
The
like
washing, the cleaning.
the washing, the cleaning. I know it sounds
Sounds
like
petty, doesn't it? But
yeah, it sounds like oh, first world problems. You have to wash and clean, but you realise it's a constant thing, and not just that. It's sorting out your own issues, right? Bills and everything along
cool.
those lines.
Yeah,
It's you're you're in the real world, and that's what I noticed is that's it now. Once you do move out, which I did have a phase, but I'd always then come back.
yeah. Because like even at Woking, you obviously moved out a bit, but I mean you were closer to Brighton, so you go back a lot,
Mm.
wouldn't you? So, but then with this, you can't really keep travelling from Manchester or like Leeds way down
No,
to Brighton.
yeah, and then you are on your own, and it's right. You need to work out what am I going to do with my day? How am I going to plan my day? How am I going to meet people? Because I went up there, right, and apart from a few teammates that I do see on a regular basis, it's a whole friendship group you need to navigate.
Yeah,
Love life, you need to put yourself out there, go on dates, do all these little things, which it's easy when you're at home because you know everyone.
yeah,
But then when you go to a completely new space, it's especially me being introverted myself, putting yourself out there, it's difficult, right? But no one's gonna just come up to you and be your friend. No one's gonna come up to you and land on your lap and be your girlfriend. You have to do these things and navigate things these ways and understand it's a skill as well. This is another skill. You have to learn how to present yourself properly. All these things which I think I bit off a lot more than I could chew at the initial time, and I got overwhelmed by it. I was like, oh no. I thought about just going back. I need to go back because
really.
it's not working. But
Mm.
I always knew if I went back home,
You sort of quit just because it got tough.
exactly, then that would always be in my mind to go, oh well, that says a lot about you if you just go back.
And I think that has like a ripple effect that right. I've lost that battle. I quit. It got a bit hard. Then the next time, something like that, life gets a bit hard, or you're not really that comfortable. It's
Yeah,
so easy to do it again, isn't it?
yeah. It's that stick to it muscle, is it? It's
Mm,
whatever you're doing. You could not be performing at your peak. You don't have to be 100%. Just don't quit.
yeah,
Like the amount of days where I'm like, okay, that was a shitty day. That didn't really work out. Nothing really happened. But just getting up tomorrow, just going, I'm going to stick this out, is so valuable. And I think if that's the one thing I have learned is, especially with you, right? If you're going to have success, all my successes come from months of nothing going right.
yeah,
Nothing
100%.
going right. I mean, I'm probably an anomaly, but I had a good season last season, but that come off the season before on a terrible season. The season before that, not really having a good season.
Yeah,
Same thing when I was a scholar, I then managed to get a pro deal, right? The first year didn't really play. The second year I was just in and out of the team. And then all of a sudden things happened. It's because you don't change what you're doing if it's not going right. You don't just throw the towel in, you just stick at it. But then over time, the luck will find you, innit? You run out of bad luck. That's what I think it is.
yeah, that's it. That's a good way of looking at it. You run out of bad luck if you stick with it. Like you said, even with the scholarship, like talking about that, I was more like it was less up and down in terms of when I was playing and fit. I would be in the team, and I was it was sort of smooth sailing. But before that, uh, before 16, from 13 to 16 years old, I didn't play football
Mm.
because I was out for 3 years at that age. So, and I went to, like I've said, I mentioned it before. I went to like so many different specialists, doctors, physios from 13 to 15, 16. And I'd come home every night and I'd have to do these exercises, and I'm like a really young age and I'm not playing football. And I'd done that for 3 years, and eventually it got me back playing.
Mm.
Whereas it's so easy to just give up, and so you have the struggles in different ways. But eventually, like you said, your bad luck has to run out if you just keep at it.
Yeah. And that's the devil of social media, right? You see people and you think, oh,
So much better than me.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's not.
have any issues.
Yeah,
But then we all do it. I'm part of the game. You're part of the game.
yeah,
You're posting your what's going well. I'm not. So I had a shit day today. I post that online. But it is just dealing with the tough times, right? And you think, especially when you're young, the worst thing that's happened to you is the worst thing that's happened to you, right? So when you've had something which is catastrophic, I look back now and think, "Man, what's that about?" And
yeah.
it's only going to get worse. There's only going to be worse stuff. I know this sounds negative, but I will
It's all
flip it.
relative as well. Like at the time, so
Yeah.
like you said, the first thing is always going to be the worst.
Mm.
But if it's the worst, if it's the worst you've experienced, no matter if it's the fact that I don't know, you just spilled drink over you, and it's the
Yeah.
worst thing you've ever experienced, you're still gonna be up there compared to someone else who's going maybe through a
Yeah.
really really bad time.
And that's the thing, right? Is I heard this quote the other day. It said, basically how we've evolved is the optimists of the world would be cut out of the gene pool way back in that they'd go and try and cross a river. Like the optimists would always be wiped out back in the day,
Yeah,
and the people that survived were the pessimists. So I believe that's why we're probably wired more negative and more prone to
stay
seeing
comfortable.
threat, staying comfortable, right? And I think now we're in a position where you've just got to look at it objectively and think, well, pursuing this personal brand or doing this podcast isn't going to kill you.
Yeah,
And it's just noticing that you need to have an optimistic view. But I think the way we're wired is be in the comfort zone, be in the bubble, because back in the day, that rewarded you, right? That kept you alive. But now we're at a point where
it's not
you're
about
not,
survival.
it's not
Like in
survival.
terms of living, we've got that really.
Yeah, the pessimists survived, and now the optimists are thriving, the ones that can go, well, how good can this get? How big can this go? And just being able to look at it and try and change your worldview like that.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. It's so easy for people to get stuck in that comfort blanket, in it,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
and we're not here to look down on people as well, because
they're just
I don't
false.
get me
Yeah,
wrong, I'm the same. I've been in a comfort blanket. Like I've only fully moved out last year,
yeah,
really. But something in me was like, I have to do this because this is a bit of an evolution. But oh, we're all like it, being in a comfort zone. We've got so much going for us now. We don't actually really experience a lot of hard times. So that's why I think now people do ice baths, people do cold showers. It's just to get that discomfort,
yeah.
because you can go through your day and not have that at all. You can go through your day and just be placid and not have anything happen.
You go through your day, not have anything happen, and then when it does happen, that's why it's hard to deal with because it is a shock to the system.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just doing those things voluntary, right?
yeah,
And that's the hardest part. If you don't have to do it, you don't have to do it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that always tries to get the better of me. I'm the same as like, oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to eat strict. You don't have to. You don't have to. But I'm like, well,
that's the easy
I
way
do.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's long term. Short term, if you take the easy choices, it just makes it hard for yourself. You just want to think, get in a mindset of how am I going to be better tomorrow for what I do today, and just notice that you do that long enough, then you're going to grow.
yeah,
So,
definitely. I just want to touch back to how how the process of you getting signed and moving from one team to the other.
yeah.
So let's obviously we'll talk about I suppose we could talk about from Palace to Bristol Rovers.
Mhm.
How did that happen? Like what was the process from you finding out they're interested to actually going and playing the first game, I suppose, everything in between.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because I think we noticed it as well when you're in the 23s. Every player wants to go out on loan and play, essentially.
Yeah,
But the reality is, it doesn't really happen all the time,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you've got to be willing to be adaptable and flexible in the right moment. So I knew, I think, a few months before I went, that there was some interest because the head of recruitment there, Tommy Widrington at the time, would come and watch my games.
yeah,
So I knew there was some interest. But even then, I used to remember thinking, Bristol Rovers, they're League One. Why do I want to go there? Because when you're in that academy bubble and you're at a Premier League club, you don't realise the level of football.
You almost in your head, you're sort of thinking, I'm a pro at a Premier League club here. I'm a
Yeah.
Premier League footballer. When
Uh,
you're not, but
No. Yeah. You're warped into thinking, no, I need to go Championship at least.
yeah,
And it's good to have that ego, right? But yeah, I think it stemmed from them coming to watch a lot of my games, and then an opportunity arising. I think it happened the last day of the window,
really,
and I got to a point where I'd always see things long term. I always look at the long term game, and I think I got to the point at Palace where I'd maybe maximised everything that I could out of my time there,
yeah,
and I think I hit a ceiling of right. I don't feel like I'm going to play in the first team regularly, so I need to go and get senior football. And luckily, that opportunity arose, and I jumped at it. But hindsight's a great thing, right? I don't know whether maybe if I stayed a couple more years, maybe that would have benefited me getting the coaching and the support. But I always looked at it,
I think first you need to get out and play men's football. That's
yeah,
what I think. Like as early as you can do that now,
mm,
I would literally the earliest, the first opportunity, I would do it.
yeah,
I think that's key.
100%. I think there's different time frames, right? I think certain individuals might need more coaching, but you look at a Jude Bellingham or you look at a world star coming through an Mbappe,
Yeah,
they played 100 games by their 20.
yeah,
They've got that. I know you have to be at a level to do it, but you can find a level where you can play regularly at that time because games and the repetitive games is what develops your CV. That's what makes you so much better is playing regularly.
yeah.
And it's almost just set aside your ego, go and play football. And I've always been to a degree. I've always wanted to do that, whatever level it suited me, just to play regularly.
Yeah, and I think the big teams now in the Prem are looking. They still obviously look at the 21s and the 23s or wherever it is at the different academies to recruit players. But I think now they're looking a bit more at the sort of national league, even like people like local to us, like Welly and Bromley, were local to me. Um, like the 16, 17-year-olds that are playing in them first teams
Hmm.
over the 16, 17-year-olds that are in the academies or 18, 19-year-olds that are in the 21s
Hmm.
because they just prefer someone who's got that men's experience
Yeah,
straight away, and they can trust them a bit more to get in. And there's good players down in them leagues.
yeah. No, it's a blessing and a curse, right? I think because of the academy environment, you're so wrapped up. You've got everything at your disposal to do well. It's almost difficult to just go. It's comfortable for me, but I know long term it's probably going to hinder me as
Yeah,
such
yeah,
because you don't have to do anything, right? You can just stay there, and if you're good enough, you're going to get another contract there. You don't have to do anything out of the ordinary just to get caught up in that bubble.
And you're on good money for the fact that you're not playing first team football.
Yeah, you're in a completely warped environment where the facilities are Premier League level, but you haven't earned the stripes to really have them. But that's no detriment, or that's not me saying anything bad about these academies. They're giving boys the best opportunity, but you've got to realise as well that you've got to earn your stripes. I think you've got to earn that, because if you're going to have that whilst you haven't really played any games, if you go elsewhere, you're going to be in for a shock, a
Yeah,
culture shock.
yeah, completely agree. And I just want to touch back to the actual signing process.
Oh yeah,
So
sorry mate,
no, yeah,
I went off beast.
that's fine. So like, so you found out they're interested. They what is it? They speak to your agent, and then your agent lets you know, and then from there, what I don't like. How quick is it from you agreeing everything to then going and training and playing and sorting out where you're living and stuff like that?
Yeah, so all the nuanced stuff
Yeah,
basically. So in my experience, it happened in the last day of the loan window.
yeah,
I kind of knew there was interest, but then all of a sudden, it was initially wanted to be a loan, but then Bristol Rovers come in and said, "Oh no, we wanted to do it permanently. That's permanently or nothing." So then that was a couple of days. So I've had a couple of days to think about, right, I need to make a decision here. So I then went, yeah, right, this sounds like the best opportunity at the time. The next progression is to go there.
yeah,
So yeah, agreed the contract, and I had to go down to Bristol from Pink Palace the last day to go down there with my agent on that evening to get everything finalised. But then you have ins and outs with the clubs in terms of sell on fees and
little
whatnot,
details.
the
Yeah,
little details which have to be flushed out. So yeah, went there and saw the manager. He wanted to see me before I signed and speak to me. So yeah, arrived at the stadium and spoke to Ben Garner at the time, the
yeah,
manager, just to have an initial conversation, which was great really, because he said he wanted to see me as a character and who you are before he
yeah.
signed. So went down to see him and then had everything agreed, because at the situation you don't want to
Sort of race against time in it
race
on the
against the
last
clock.
day. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and you don't want to then put too much demands, because you understand, right, this is an opportunity to play senior level, so you can't be asking for X, Y, Z. You just need to go, right, yeah, I'll take this because it's an opportunity. And
yeah.
then, yeah, a bit of a race against the clock to get everything sorted and finalised, but luckily it all did get sorted. So,
You
yeah,
signed that day.
signed on the last day,
Yeah,
and luckily the club were great. They put me up in a hotel for the first few months,
yeah.
just so you can then use your relocation allowance, especially when you move.
It's that teething period in it. They're just helping you out for the first few months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're keeping you settled, putting you in a nice place, put you in a lovely hotel, so then you can then find somewhere and get settled. But yeah, all skills which have benefited me really is just thinking on your feet, and that is football really. You've got to think on your feet, because you can't plan for where you're going to be
yeah,
like in any other career. Right, I'm going to have 2 years here and go there. It's like, right, do this, work it out. I'm lucky for the people who are around me as well. We've done it, especially my agent and mum and dad who helped me, because for them it's like it's the standard, so they help me out massively. So
yeah.
yeah,
And then probably what the next couple of days you're in training with the new team.
yeah. So you
Straight in.
yeah, you remember the first couple of days I was training with Palace 23 that week. I think it was the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, training, preparing for a game with the development squad. Then at the end of the week, you're training with a completely different side and preparing for a game in League One. And it's like, well, that just happened so quickly, and you almost
People you've been with for 5, 6 years. That's it. You're not seeing
it's
them
gone.
anymore.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't realise at the time. You say your goodbyes and you think, oh yeah, you'll catch up with them, and then
Sometimes you
before
don't
you
even
know it,
get time to say goodbye. Really, do you?
no. I remember my last day, and Sean Derry was the manager at the time.
He's now at Wolves, isn't he, as the assistant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember I didn't really clock at the time. I said all these people I've been around for 5 years, and I was gone within a couple of days. And looking back, I don't think I really said my goodbyes properly, because you don't process it.
Yeah.
All the players that you've been with, it's like, right, you're gone, different, and then yeah. So I remember that, and that's part of the game, right? You just have to
Yeah. Of
take the
course.
opportunity, take the leap when it's presented, because I understood as well. I looked around and not everyone else had that opportunity. So it'd
Yeah.
be stupid for me to throw that away, really.
Yeah. And then you've done, like I said, like we said earlier, you've gone through that process now probably 3 or 4 times.
Mm.
Um, Obviously at Harrogate now. What are your Do you have any short-term plans? So in terms of personal plans for the season,
Yeah, so I've had a
little goals you set yourself.
I've got goals that I've set myself, and I think the first 6 months has been a massive learning experience for me. I think the big one is playing regularly, whether that be at Harrogate or not. We have to see that, but that's the main aim is to play regularly, get the games because we've had a bit of a hit and miss 6 months, and I understand time's limited. So
Of course, yeah.
where I can get the opportunity to play is where I'm gonna
Go.
have to go. Yeah, which I'm open minded to. So yeah, just making sure the next 6 months are a lot better than the first 6 months. But either
Just
way, you're winning or you're learning. So
just a try. Yeah, a little Conor McGregor quote. I
is
like
it?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I
A lot
get
of
him from
people.
somewhere.
Yeah,
I pluck quotes and try and put my name on them. See if
yeah.
anyone notices. Just go, oh
I
yeah,
noticed,
just
mate. Don't worry. No, but what was he saying? Yeah, so I suppose the goal is just to play regular football again and start getting back into the swing of things and getting that game time.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I noticed that you can be in that frame for too long where you're on the bench and you're
bit
being
part
used,
player. Yeah,
but you have to be selfish and say, look, I need to play
yeah,
because I realised the best progress I got last year was playing
yeah,
regularly. But that's come from your performances as well. So
yeah. Of course.
we'll nail that, I think.
Yeah, and obviously you don't have to share these, but do you have any long-term goals, like or longer-term sort of where you want to get to? I suppose we spoke about off the pitch,
Hmm.
but in terms of on the pitch,
Yeah, I think on the pitch is maximise as much as I can. I mean, there's goals I have, but I think at the same time it's not looking too far ahead to those long term goals. It's planting the seeds in your head and going right. This is how am I going to get there every day?
yeah. So you've got you have a little think, like you said, have a little think. Right, these are my long-term goals, but my focus is not going to stay there because you'll get too paranoid and work yourself up about if you're not reaching them.
Yeah, I think you need a north star to look at, a north star to go base your daily actions on.
Yeah,
But you can easily get discouraged if your goals are too lofty. You might think they're too lofty, and you think, how am I going to get there? But it's the daily actions, right?
yeah,
So it's yeah. I've got some goals in mind, but
yeah.
yeah, the main thing is just to make sure that every day you're trying to be better for it.
Nice, mate.
Yeah.
Um, Listen, I just want to finish off with some quick fire questions, if that's all right.
Let's go.
Yes, I say quick fire, but it can be as quick or as long as you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
like this.
best player you've ever trained with
Best player I've
or
trained
played with, yeah. Trained or
play or
other
train.
than me, yeah, obviously.
I was going to put you up there,
Yeah,
but
please.
hmm, difficult. Let me go. Well, training. I'll go training. Uh, I think for me, who stood out was Andros Townsend.
Yeah,
Just I think the whole basis of the physical qualities
top
off
professional,
both
wasn't it?
feet, top professional. In terms of the full package, no ego, would help you out, would do anything to help you out, and in turn be a top athlete, a top performer, and every day giving everything. I remember him and James MacArthur was one where I looked at a lot of other players and thought I don't think I can really emulate that because I was like, oh well, it's just the abilities is not what I have.
Too high, yeah.
I'm not saying that James MacArthur doesn't have ability, but his actions would be every day, how he train every day was like I could see that more as a tangible way to achieve
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Although he's got really good ability, like so has Andros, but their top trait is probably, like you said, their everything other than their ability.
The professionalism
Yeah,
of it, there's what you do every day, and you treat every training as a match day. So yeah, I say them two are what who stick out to me
nice.
for those
And
reasons.
very similar, but best player you've played against. So obviously this will have to be a match.
Uh,
Obviously you might not know their
Like a first team game, you say?
yeah first team game. Someone that you just again it might be someone where on the pitch you thought wow he's good, or someone you've actually personally come up against, as in like maybe a
Like
right back or a centre half
a direct opponent.
who's been tough.
Um, Let me think. I'm trying to think now.
I suppose it's tough because you
Well,
don't always know like them personally or them like their name. Like you might not know their exact.
I remember. So we played. Notts County last year, and there was a lot of standout performers, but for me, John Bostock,
Yeah.
I'd say, in terms of running the game and being similar to you,
Come on, I want to hear it.
without blowing your head up.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being able to see the game 2, 3 steps ahead,
Yeah.
and you that speaks for the career he's had, right? Is up upstairs in the mental side of it. He was always 1 or 2 steps ahead in the game, and I remember not being able to get anywhere near him. I feel like I'm blessed with my physical attributes is what separates me.
Yeah.
I remember I took a touch, and usually I just take a touch and run down the line and get on the end of it. And I remember thinking, oh, I'll just put it past him.
Yeah, this old.
And then
Yeah.
I just see him coming in my side. I'm like, oh my God, no,
It's just being
what's
smart,
happening?
isn't it?
Yeah. And the kind of ego just went straight to the floor and my legs gave way. And that's just one side of it. And he had the technical ability and the know-how just to run the game essentially. Just
Yeah.
made it look easy.
Yeah, nice. I always think as well. I can't remember one of the coaches at Palace used to tell me this, but you obviously have you're at your peak physical sort of early on, and then you slowly lose it. And as you lose it, you start getting the experience, and you become a smarter player. So
Yeah,
the smarter you can be when you're younger,
that's true.
that's when that's a
You're
good
leveraging
recipe.
both, right?
Yeah,
You look at a Bellingham, Mbappe.
yeah.
It's having both
You've got to play
young
with your mind.
is yeah is the ideal, isn't it? So that's
Yeah.
the goal. Yeah.
Quickest player at Harrogate at the moment.
Oh, Sam Folleran, Bryon country mile.
Which quicker than you? What distance we talking? Like sharp,
Jets.
any distance?
Jets.
Yeah, really.
I've
Rapid.
never seen anything like it.
Wow,
Never seen anything
wow.
like it. Just
Is he blitzing you?
raw. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Honestly,
Okay.
I would not put myself anywhere near his pace. There'd be games where he could play on the wing or play up front, and you think like the ball's going out of play or the ball's going to the keeper,
Yeah.
and he'd get there, and you look honestly look at it and you think, oh my God, like you're actually speechless to how quick he is.
What position does he play?
So he's a winger,
Yeah,
and
nice.
he's played at striker at times, but
Nice, yeah.
yeah, no, he's a great player and
I need to
blessed.
watch him. I'm racing.
So quick, honestly. I wouldn't want to race. I know
Yeah,
I'm getting second, but I would put myself up there. But
yeah,
in terms of yeah, that's a race I'm not winning,
yeah.
which I
Cool.
can hold my hands up and say.
Yeah, which you win most of them, to be fair. So
Oh, that's
it's
right.
saying something. Best stadium you've played at. Again,
Best
you
stadium.
could do it as sort of like the quality of the actual stadium, dressing rooms, stands, or the crowd.
Crowd. Come on against Bradford. Didn't really play the full game, but that was an atmosphere.
Yeah,
A huge club, and
they've got big fans in there. Like they're die hard.
you warm up and you think, yeah, this is being a footballer. This is it. And say the year before Wrexham when we played them at the racecourse grounds,
Yeah,
that was I think
nice.
10,000 there.
Yeah,
Great
decent.
atmosphere. So yeah,
And they were on
them
that
two.
run as well, weren't they? So
They're on their
was
run.
that year?
That was a year. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were I think the only team to take points of them at their ground as well.
yeah.
So
What's the biggest stadium you played in? Would it be Palace?
in terms of playing,
Yeah,
uh, I never really played at Palace.
not for I suppose only at youth games, wouldn't it?
Yeah, biggest stadium might be Wrexham.
Yeah, 10,000. Yeah,
Wrexham, Bradford. I don't know what Bradford is, but yeah, didn't play too much.
yeah.
But some big grounds there.
If you had one, footballing idol, either growing up or now.
Oh, growing up, well, I was a Chelsea diehard, so Didier Drogba.
Yeah,
Him or Henry. I,
it's that
I
era, wasn't it? The job was different, man.
Drogba just, yeah, I'd say Drogba
Yeah,
if I had to choose. Just changing game, big game player. Every final, scored every final bar one.
yeah,
Just was the man for the
yeah.
moment, and just everything that I don't know. I just used to aspire to be like him, like the physicality, the technique, just strike as well. Just like a big game player.
Big game player. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't argue that. The hardest actual team you've faced. Okay, so like the hardest game you've played, and you think, well, you thought, wow, this team's give us a lot of problems,
Gave us
or
a
you
run.
just thought, yeah, the hardest team you've played.
Just go back and think. There was a few.
Interesting to see what league it is.
There's a few. Can I give like three?
Yeah, go on,
Can I
give
three
three.
up. So I remember at Stevenage we played Forest Green when they went up, and the footballing ability they passed us off the pitch.
Really?
I think that was a game we had. I would love to have known the possession stats, but they were a different animal then. I think it was that Luton manager now, I forget his name.
Rob Edwards.
Rob Edwards.
Yeah.
So he was in charge then, and they were just playing some unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Couldn't get near him.
It's a good manager, Robert, isn't he?
Yeah. Another one would be Notts County when we played them at their place.
Yeah.
Just feel like we just got run ragged, really. And I was just chasing flies.
They play as well. They keep on the ground, don't they?
Play some stuff, and
Yeah.
it might have been my first game back from injury.
So welcome back.
Welcome back.
Get me back in the physio room.
Oh, I feel my hammy at
Yeah.
60 there. Yeah, that was a difficult game.
Yeah.
See if I can get one more. If I can get a recent one.
Do you ever play like Sunderland, Ipswich in League One? You're in League One.
Yeah, we played Sunderland, but we played them. I played them at the Mem. I think we beat them 2-1. So can't say. It must be a League One side.
Yeah, we'll go with them two anyway. That's fine.
We'll take them too.
If you weren't a footballer, what do you reckon you'd be? Right, like at this moment. Like if you never went into football.
If I never went into football.
It's hard to say, isn't it? It's almost impossible to actually not say. But...
Yeah, I think I would have gone down the university route. Maybe personal training. Yeah. I know it's an easy.
I could see you doing. I could see you doing something with fitness, definitely.
Yeah, I'd have to be doing something along that realm. I then hopefully by then pivot into personal brand.
Yeah,
do that. So,
your favorite artist at the moment, like who's your most listened to on Spotify?
Favorite artist at the minute.
Do you listen to a lot of music?
I haven't been listening to too much, to be fair. I do like a bit of country. I like Luke Combs at the minute.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, go Luke Combs.
Yeah, nice.
Bit of country.
Last one. Your best moment in football.
Best moment in football. I think the most exhilarating was my first goal for Bristol Rovers. Really? Even though there's no fans, that was a marker and something where I think that was the most.
You got lift off in it.
That was a nice moment to know that. Yeah, it was a lot of just your first professional goal as well.
Yeah,
and everyone remembers their first like pro goal, like their proper goal. Yeah. So I'd say that
first professional contract up there.
Definitely, yeah. First professional contract. Yeah, I remember having the meetings as well with that. Especially, what made that even more special was my dad being in the meeting as well.
Yeah,
because
they've seen it all, haven't they? They've seen it from the start to the end.
For you, probably the same. My dad started everything. He was the manager of my youth team.
Yeah,
watch all my school games. He would travel everywhere with me. He'd take me to training. My mum as well. They'd both be like that. So having them to come and sign my professional contract was like, yeah, that's a thank you for them. And that was special, just being able to share it with them. And I know they're both really proud. So yeah, that was a really nice moment. That.
Yeah, nice stuff, mate. Listen, James, I think we'll leave it there.
I
appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the time. And
really enjoyed it, my pal.
Yeah, and I wish you best for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, mate.
And good luck.
Cheers, pal.
Nice one.
Very much. Cheers.
Yes, guys, thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, could you please follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel? It massively helps us out.